Okay, so we have everything in place. We have our mic, we have our preamp, we have a good mic level. We know that if we want to use the compressor, what we're kind of leaning towards. If we're going to use an EQ, we know what we're kind of leaning towards. We've got our reverb send set up so that the singer's got some ambience and some vibe, some excitement, and we're ready to go. So now we're kind of moving now into phase 2 with tracking. And wouldn't you know it, we're going to start out by actually talking about communication even some more. Because again, I can't overstate this clearly, that there are so many producers and engineers out there that just are really bad at communicating to the singers. It's unfortunately the case. So we're here to help you be better. What I want to touch on with this, and from the tracking standpoint, is first of all, is your dialogue while the singer's recording. Not every singer and artist that you get coming through is a great singer, unfortunately. And sometimes they're really bad. And you gotta work with that. And so the first thing I want to talk about is the balance between being like constructive criticism, so to speak, and saying like, well, let's try to fix this note and that note. But the balance of also then being encouraging enough so they don't get discouraged, because as we know, artists can be very, emotional, which is a great thing because that's what a lot of times allows them to be such great artists. But if you push it sometimes too hard, sometimes you'll lose the artist and the artist kind of gets disconnected because they're, if you're being a total dick to somebody, then that's just not the way to go. So one thing I would encourage you guys to do, or that is, again, has worked for me, is to find that balance between encouraging them, because I am the notorious encourager. I will always give great encouragement, and also being picky enough and constructive enough to say, hey, I love that part, but can we try it with a little bit more of this or a little bit less of that, or find the way to say it in a way that's not completely squashing them and making them feel like they're this big, but in the same sense gets your point across and allows you to get a better performance out of them. So that's the first thing. The next thing is to sometimes just to help them find their way through the song. Some vocal parts are really tough. I'm sure that when my singers come through here later that we're going to give them the option of how they want to take the song, but one thing I do with all of my singers is give them the option to either sing the song section by section. So let's say we'll start with the first verse and we'll say, okay, let's sing this first verse first. Do you want to start with the chorus first? And there's schools of thought on which way to go and where to go and what order to do them in. Some people like to get all their verses taken care of first. So maybe you'll sing the first verse and then you'll sing the second verse. And then the voice is woken up and now they're ready for maybe a wider range or a higher part like you might see in a chorus. But at the end of the day, this all goes back to communication. So communicate and work with them. And and then other singers, I know that, for example, Joseph Luca, who's going to be coming in, loves to just sing it all the way through. That's just the way he likes to track vocals. And I know this from working with him before, and so we will more than likely do that again. But each singer is different, and once you kind of get a feel and feel them out, and maybe some singers bite off a little bit more than they can chew. You might have someone that says, oh yeah, I can sing it all the way through, and by the time they get to that chorus, they're already out of air or out of energy, or they're losing some energy, and so you've got to be sitting in this chair again, and them expecting you to kind of run the show, to say, hey, you know what, let's just start with the first verse and really nail that, because you're crushing those verses and I really want to get that. And don't tell them that they're running out of air and they sound not as good in the chorus. Just limit them and make it work. And that's the name of this game. So I just wanted to point that out.